Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, there were more last-minute changes on this week's episode of Raw, and wrestlers are pissed.
Spoiler alert, Wardlow is TNT champion once again.
A top free agent is set for AEW talks.
And an update on the LWO's booking in WWE. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I'm Andy Murray.
Happy 420. This is the news.
Why'd you say that? It's just a Thursday.
If you know, you know.
Bill and Ben?
Do they have Bill and Ben in America?
I have no
Or are
idea.
they called like Brad and Chad? The Flower Pot Lads.
Jesus.
Sorry. It's already ruined this news, isn't it?
Wow, okay, that was unnecessary. Let's kick things off by talking about Raw, right? Shockingly, there were more changes on this week's episode of Raw. This is a report from PW Insider Elite stating that multiple backstage segments featuring members of WWE's women's roster were cut from the show, and understandably, that led to the female talent involved not being best pleased. This happened shortly before the show hit the airwaves, and actually, one of the backstage segments had already been filmed.
Brilliant.
So they filmed something and then just went, nah, according to this PW Insider report. Now, there's no word on what exactly was going to happen in the scrapped content, multiple segments, but it led to some very unhappy talents, is the exact quote there. So there you go, that's the report. Obviously, last minute changes on Raw have become a thing again in recent weeks. They were not a thing for the majority of Triple H's reign as head of creative, but they are a thing once more. Remember, of course, the Raw after WrestleMania, Vince McMahon, who is executive chairman, said, I'm not going to be in the weeds of creative, I'm only going to be the high level stuff, and then promptly changed like an entire show that very day on the Raw after WrestleMania.
Can you believe that? I got a bridge in London to sell you.
Yeah, there you go. So, there you are. It's another example of something that's probably going to be a weekly occurrence. He has the final say in the company. Now, we should point out that the report does not attribute these changes to Vince. My theory is that it was almost certainly him.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think
come
suddenly
on.
Triple H has gone, Dad, I think that's a good idea. I'm just going to rip the script up the last second. Look, what did we say? I keep saying it. I said I wouldn't keep talking about it. I'm going to do it again, though, Andy.
I'm going to do it anyway.
Just because Vince wasn't backstage at Raw this week doesn't mean stuff like this can't happen.
Exactly.
I thought Raw was actually quite a good show this week, despite these shenanigans. But yeah, we always say this. The most important thing is that the talent enjoy going to work. And I think, you know, you'd be a bit annoyed if you went to work and they were like, we've got nothing for you actually this week. Do you want to just go and hang around in catering?
Yeah.
That's not ideal. I think what's worse is when you work really hard on something and then someone goes, oh, yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm not
just
bother.
like deletes it from whatever space of existence
Yeah.
it's in. Yeah, it would suck, and I can understand why the people involved would be a bit pissed off about it. So there you are. Especially if you filmed a segment.
Yeah, done all that.
Yeah.
We learned the weird verbiage that they use, and then they've gone, yeah, bollocks to you.
Here we are. This is the new reality.
Switching gears now from WWE to AEW. It was, of course, Dynamite last night. Simon Miller is going to be coming your way with ups and downs later on today. And me and the Dudley Boys are going to be chatting all about it on the Dynamite Review podcast, WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from. But one of the big stories coming off the back of it is a title change on last night's show. Wardlow is TNT champion again, defeating Powerhouse Hobbs, although...
3 times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
5 time soon, maybe. I don't know.
The fact he beat Powerhouse Hobbs is kind of only half the story, because obviously Powerhouse Hobbs has done all the QTV stuff and been involved with QT Marshall. So who'd you get to balance things out? Armed Anderson.
He pulled out the Glock, brother.
Yes. He got involved in the match. QT got dropped by Penta El Zero as he tried to run away, and then Arn dropped him with a DDT. Wardlow pinned Powerhouse Hobbs after a Powerbomb Symphony.
And the match was finished.
It was one of those where it was a bit of a difficult one going into it, because you were like, uh-oh, whoever loses this is kind of screwed. I think the only good result that you could have had here is Wardlow winning, because at least then Wardlow's not finished, and Powerhouse Hobbs can just be like, you don't do fucking anything, QT Marshall. I'm just going to go and be an ass kicker on my own, which he should have been from the beginning.
Should just destroy QT next week or something,
Yes.
right? The whole group, Aaron Solo off the stage or whatever. Yeah, the QTV thing has done nothing for Powerhouse Hobbs, who's one of my favorite wrestlers in AEW, but it feels to me that despite him being TNT champion, the whole thing has diminished him somewhat, and I would prefer him to just go back to kicking ass.
Yeah.
And Wardlow has had a very difficult few months himself as well, obviously. So, yeah, this was a tough one to navigate. You would hope that coming out of it, the Arn affiliation gives Wardlow something new to chew on, and hopefully QT gets something new to chew on, because the most recent versions of these men and these characters has not worked. I don't think that's a controversial statement, but you are entitled to disagree. And hopefully the coming weeks are better for them, because I like them both.
Yeah, and we love Hobbs, like you say. He's not quite finished.
Yeah. You can't be finished until you've reached, like, the point of no return.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there you go.
You're going to be all right, Hobbs. Just kick QT's ass.
Yeah, just kick his ass. Maybe we can get that back on. You know what? I would just reform Team Taz. Like, it's the best stable ever.
Bring him home.
It's the coolest guys in the world. Bring them back. Why not? Why not? Taz could do the story as well. He could go, hey, Ricky, you've been struggling a little bit. Hey, Hobbs, you've been struggling. And Hook, you're just kind of you're doing okay, but you're floating around. Yeah, here you go. Putting the band back. Why not? As baby faces. Let's go.
Let's go.
Let's talk about Kota Ibushi. He wants to talk to Tony. That's what he said. I'm going to talk to Tony soon. That's the story. I'm being a bit facetious here, but Dark Puro Resuflosion, absolutely one of the best Twitter follows out there, by the way. Love their daily little snippets with the all caps yelling in them. I love it. It's a tremendous account. You should follow them if you don't already, and if you do, you're a good taste having person.
Indeed.
But
follow me on Twitter.
They spoke to Dark Pure Resuflosion, spoke to Kota Ibushi. And they were talking about Kenny Omega. And Kota said, recently Kenny and I have been talking about things other than games. For example, are your knees okay? Is your shoulder okay? Obviously, both men have had well-documented injury issues.
Kota, how do you look like that at 55 years old?
Kota Ibushi is secretly 74.
How old is he? He's older than he looks.
100. He's the same age as Hamlet.
What's your skincare routine? Let us know in the comments.
Absolutely. And does it have more than 4 steps? If you have more than 4 steps in your skincare routine, I respect you so much.
Yeah.
If you have, like, the more steps you have, the more I respect you.
Does a step in a skincare routine include have skin? Because if so, I might be in with a chance.
If you're not at least moisturising, get ready to look like a handbag.
Play the game, come on.
By 35, sort your life out. Right, anyway.
Sorry, Kota
as well as saying that stuff about Kenny Omega, he said, also, I hope to be in contact with Tony soon. Who is it? Tony D'Angelo?
Tony Mowbray?
Is it?
Could be playing for Sunderland soon.
Tony Mowbray. I have no idea. It's Tony Khan.
It's
obviously.
TK, yeah.
So yeah, Ibushi, I think his long-term future is staying freelance rather than signing somewhere. But obviously, there are a lot of fun things he could do in AEW.
Yeah, he's had his fingers burned with long-term contracts before.
Yes, he certainly has.
But yeah, that's exactly what I want to see from him. I want him to do stuff in AEW, but also be free to do stuff everywhere, basically, and then he can work the WCPW show we're booking. Him versus Simon Miller. And Goldberg.
Yeah, the 3 pillars of WCPW.
Sure, that won't cost us too much.
No, that'll be a nice bargain. Although, when has that ever stopped us in the past?
Exactly, yeah. Right, let's talk the LWO. I think it's been a real breath of fresh air in WWE. I think it's a fantastic way of...
What a random, weird revival that has actually just been fun.
Yeah, better than the original.
Yeah.
And presumably because people can't say Legado del Fantasma, so they're like, I'll just do LWO.
Yeah. Stupid people can't
sell loads of bloody T-shirts. Obviously, they've been involved in stuff with the Judgment Day, and then you had all the stuff with the Bloodline also being involved with the whole, you hate them and you hate them, so we'll kick their ass for you. Anyway, PW Insider reporting... WWE is largely booking the LWO to get their ass kicked, basically. Ray and Bad Bunny are expected to face 2 Judgment Day members at Backlash, of course, which go down in Puerto Rico on the 6th of May. And PW Insider also notes that WWE plans on booking Rhea Ripley, SmackDown Women's Champion, against Zelina Vega of the LWO at the Premium Live event, which makes a lot of sense considering they've been interacting on TV. And it's one of those things, Zelina's a viable challenger, but also someone we all know isn't going to beat Rhea Ripley, because Rhea Ripley is going to hold that title probably till next year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, probably. So the crux of this report is that they're using the LWO to heat the Judgment Day up and get Rhea ready and all that stuff. So Yeah, I think that's reflected on the team. They just get their asses kicked a lot, don't they?
And they do it really well.
Fine. Yeah, that's fine. They're good at getting their asses beat. So for now, it's pretty cool.
And they're just all so talented.
Yeah.
Like Santos Escobar, we've been singing his praises legitimately since he was in NXT.
I've liked him since I'm going to nerd myself. I've enjoyed him since he was in Lucha Underground, brother.
Yeah,
so.
To be fair, you were putting him over to me when I was like, I don't know how these people are.
Going hunting with his fake bow and arrow.
I think
Good.
Cruz del Toro's one of the coolest names in all of wrestling. And Joaquin Wilde's just always great week in, week out as well. So a great faction, and as I said, with Zelina Vega being involved, makes sense to have her put over Rhea as part of this elevating of the Judgment Day, who just kick ass unless your name's Finn Balor, in which case, sorry mate, you're the one who's taking an absolute beating.
It'd be fun. You know who'd be fun in Lucha Underground, now that we've spoken about Santos being there?
Oh yeah, go on.
Rhea Ripley.
Jesus
doing
Christ.
Stupid characters. She could be a dragon or something. Like, there was monsters in a cage in that promotion. It was really weird.
I should have watched Lucha Underground, man.
It was a mix of like really fun, silly, incredible stuff, and then just complete nonsense.
Yeah.
Like dragons eating people in cages and stuff.
What was the name of their Money in the Bank briefcase? It had a good title, was it? Like Gift from the Gods or something?
Yes, that's right.
That's such a good name.
Phoenix versus Mil Muertes from the first season. You should watch that if you've never seen it.
And if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to say, just Google Angelico Lucha Underground. You're welcome.
You'll have a fun time. They did a match.
It's a jaw-dropping. So he's done two, actually.
Yeah, he's a crazy individual.
Yeah.
It's a crazy individual.
And WCPW trained him. Wait a second. The timeline might be slightly different on that. But lovely bloke as well, so
we got that over. You know who else WCPW trained?
Go on.
Goldberg.
And Cody Rhodes.
And
Kurt Angle.
Ryback.
Kurt Angle actually wrestled in WCPW, got in a time machine, then went back to 1998.
That's how it works. Won
and
the
I mean,
Olympics.
folks, where's the lie? Bobby Fish. We trained him as well.
He was trained in 1854, man. Come on. We can't go that far back. He remembers when George Hackenschmidt was just a twinkle in his dad's eye. Jesus.
Right, should we move on to Twitter questions?
I'm sorry, Bobby Fish. It's so mean.
It's all out of love.
I look older than Bobby Fish is, so it's, the joke's on me, really.
At WhatCulture WWE, if you want to get in touch with us. First question today comes from Andrew Richardson, who writes, if the Saturday AEW show goes ahead with a hard roster split, does that mean more titles? Would they move the TBS and or the TNT titles across or create new ones? More belts, more belts, more belts.
I would not like more belts personally, but that's not the question, is it? Does it mean more belts? Yeah, I think, unfortunately, I think it probably does mean they'd add more belts. I think they've got enough. I think WWE have enough. I think almost every company in the world has maybe actually got one or two too many already. I include every promotion I watch in that conversation. But I think they will. I think they'll try and add something to make a top title for the other brand. Then you have to ask the question of like the women's title and the tag team titles, and are they going to just flip-flop between brands and stuff, which is, for me, usually the optimal solution. I could see them adding more. AEW, as Michael Sidgwick has put recently, is a very excessive promotion. Mm-hmm. That's not necessarily always a problem. I quite like excessive nonsense. Check out the music I listen to, for example. But yeah, something they would do.
The Weekend Warrior Championship. You can only fight for it on a Sunday.
Oh, no.
Dave Chappell gives us our second question of the day. It got me very excited for a second there, Dave. But thank you for your question.
Okay.
With Nia Champions happening in Saudi, assuming every title will be defended, and Sami Zayn obviously not able to enter Saudi, could this mean Sami and KO will lose their title back to the Usos in their rematch? I hope to God not.
It's a popular theory, and I can see why people are going towards it. I don't think so, however. I know it's Night of Champions. I know the theory is that all the belts are on the line. However, WWE for decades has broken its own rules. They will have no problem whatsoever doing that again. So I would certainly hope that that doesn't happen, and I don't think it will. I don't think you can rule out the possibility for the reasons you have outlined. However, I do have a little bit of faith that they will not take the belts off of Sami for that reason. They won't be on the show.
No.
But I don't think they'll strip them.
Yeah, I think there's a way, obviously, fans don't want this to happen, so they will be willing WWE and sort of accommodating for WWE doing stuff like this. So I could easily see them on, like, the SmackDown before the Friday night before the weekend being like it's a Night of Champions, like, go-home match. Yeah, exactly. Just do that rather than the worst booking you could have done since... Night 2 of WrestleMania's main event.
Well, here's the thing. Maybe we're being a bit naive here because who do we think was behind the change from King and Queen of the Ring to Night of Champions, who is historically not liked King of the Ring? Vince McMahon, who would strip Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens of the tag team titles before a pay-per-view.
Just delete the tag team titles, probably. Oh, there we go.
Maybe we're being naive. Maybe the cynics are right.
I would have loved to have seen his face when he found out the tag titles were main event in WrestleMania.
Oh,
Old bitch. Sorry.
People are going to come for you now, man. See, when
I saw the Elon Musk
I
stuff.
called Elon Musk a weirdo the other day, and oh my goodness, billionaires have simp armies ready to mobilize at any point. Somebody actually replied saying, "Hey man, you should insult Andrew Tate and see what happens." So I was like, "Hey, well, let's go." what a weird thing.
I've just figured out how they do it. Kevin and Sammy are going to be wrestling in Saudi via a green screen. Remember that idea with Daniel Bryan? That's one thing. One of the biggest missed opportunities because I want to see what that was going to look like.
That would be a disaster.
Someone accidentally presses a button, it's just puppies in the background instead.
It's the Fiend.
Final question comes from Kid Beatniks about last night's Dynamite. It says, please tell me, for the love of all things wrestling, what did that Pittsburgh crowd want from that main event that they weren't getting? Yeah, they were a bit dead, weren't they?
Characters they are invested in and the storyline they are invested in would be the answer to that. Like the crowd.
I don't think the opening promos probably sold them on it.
That's it. Like the proof is in the crowd reactions when it comes to these things. That's the acid test. When it comes to what's connecting with the crowd, obviously, because if they're into it, they're going to cheer and stuff. So while you can put forth the merits of what was, I thought, a good match, it's clear that the crowd aren't getting what they want from an investment standpoint. Like that opening segment was one of the least enjoyable, in my opinion, that AEW has ever produced. Darby has had some really good promos. Really good stuff. Speaking from the heart, speaking his truth. This was not one of them. The wheels came off all three. I think that, and when MJF came out, right, it was like, oh, thank goodness.
He's a star.
Here's someone to kind of get it back up. And he's the heel world champion, so the story didn't connect with the Pittsburgh audience. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Is it connecting with you at home? Let us know in the comments section below.
I think Tony Khan, what he needs to do is stop booking like promo trains and impromptu matches and take a leaf out of WWE's book. Learn from the book of the year, Papa H, and hey, you can turn this around. I believe in you, boy.
Papa H isn't even the booker anymore, brother.
None of this makes any sense. Tell you what does make sense, though, Andy. Today's and finally.
Okay.
WWE on Fox last night tweeted, who deserves a place on your Mount Rushmore of WWE women's superstars? And I would ask you that tomorrow as part of our questions. But A, that's not anywhere near wacky enough. And B, you're back to the best city in the world, in your words.
I am the shining silver city. In my words. Okay. I'll remember that.
Chesterfield's a town, actually, yeah.
It's got a broken spire.
I'll acknowledge your city if you acknowledge my town.
No, it's rubbish.
Hang on, we could do We the Ones, but like a crooked spire.
Yeah, it's like a rip-off of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. It's good.
God.
But it's the Leaning Tower of Pisa, but British.
Finally, Dominic saw this and shared his Mount Rushmore of WWE Women's Superstars. Do you want to know what it is?
I did actually see this.
Number 1, Rhea Ripley. Yeah. Number 2, Rhea Ripley. 3, Rhea Ripley. 4, Rhea Ripley. Honourable mention, Tori Wilson. Well played, sir. The greatest heel of all of wrestling right now, and think of the ground that covers.
Yeah, I think he's the greatest heel of all time.
And don't go at me in the comments about my best friend. Maxwell Jacob Friedman is not a heel in my eyes. So, there you go. Right, let us know your thoughts on that and all today's news stories in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcasts from, for daily wrestling podcasts. I was about to do my usual spiel there. I don't have to. Tomorrow's Wacky. We'll be posting a wacky image on our YouTube community page.
Yeah.
No serious questions, please.
You're doing that because I'm off.
It's going to be a roulette wheel of who's going to be sitting here. Will it be Simon Miller? No.
No, he lives in London.
He lives in London and hates us. He doesn't hate us. He
doesn't live in London either.
Yeah, he doesn't actually. Yeah, he doesn't. He doesn't live in Gateshead. There's your answer.
His name also is not Simon Miller.
Yeah.
It's
Clive.
Clive William.
Bum.
But Clive Bum. Poor Clive.
Bums and Downs was the original name.
Get this off. Finish this video.
At WhatCulture WWE anyway for us. You can follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Hoop61. Hoop who's talking to.
What happens if the hoops come back whilst you're away? Will you keep in the league?
No, I am fed up with the hoop. It needs to end. It can only end at 69. Nice, obviously. I cannot wait.
Yeah.
I can't. That's it. That's it.
At WhatCulture WWE.
Cut.
Sex thing. Bye. 420.